William Rigler would like to know, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about working with special effects?
Well, I like working with special effects. I really do love them because it's challenging and funny, and it adds to the kind of drama of doing things. Do you remember there was a scene once when I was going to blow up the Daleks? I had these two wires. I said, "Have I the right?" And and curiously enough, I was at a Doctor Who do in London. There were some journalists there. And this scene came up, and so on a big screen, and I sat below it with these two wires, two bits of spaghetti, pretending they were wires. and when it got to the bit of "Have I the right?", I was saying, I still remember the dialogue, and the two bits of spaghetti became nearer and nearer, and I said, "No, I can't do it." And then I invented the dialogue. I said, "Really, I love the Daleks. I mean, if it was the BBC, I could go." That's the spirit I meant it in, you see. But the next day, in one of the papers, the audience, the fans, howled with laughter, and they saw the spirit in which I said this. And the next day in the paper, it said, "Tom Baker has a rant, he wants to blow up the BBC." And then they were absolutely shocked when people tweeted all over the world, "He's quite right too, and so do we." But they saw the joke. A girl just down there to my left just yawned. There she is. Just yawned. I'm so sorry. Look, I'll try to be snappier. Go on.
Big Finish, Katie Haynes would like to know, what made you finally decide to bring the fourth Doctor back via Big Finish?
Well, I happened to meet David Richardson and Nicholas Briggs, who are executives and directors on Big Finish, and they were just such charming boys. And they said they really wanted to write scripts for me, and I said, "Well, that would be very interesting. Where do you live? I mean, where would you record it?" And they said, "In North London." Now, I live now in East Sussex, and I live in a little paradise with a dog and my wife and the cats and a herd of deer and a few sheep and some woodland. It's a little Eden for me, a little garden of Eden. And I said, "No, I don't think I could go to North London. I don't like North London." And they were terribly crestfallen about this. Anyway, the next day the phone went, and it was Nick and David Richardson, and they said, "Suppose we come to you." I said, "You're on." and that's the way it's been now for this the 5th year. I think it's beginning the 5th year. And they come to a studio very near me called Sorcery. It's good, isn't it? A magic name for where they record Doctor Who. And so I turn up at Sorcery Studios, a small car ride away, and the other actors come down from London to meet me. And we have these wonderful 2 long day meetings and rehearsals and everything, and we laugh from morning till night. And it's very agreeable. I love to laugh, and the other actors love to come down here, and so that's how it is. I hope it will go on. They have big plans for me. Will you ask me another question?
Ryan Burke asks, I read that you were mixing cement at a construction site when you first received the news that you got the part of the Doctor. Did you quit then and there, or did you finish mixing the cement?
I was tempted to quit, but I couldn't because I was sworn to secrecy. For when the BBC told me that I had the part, they swore me to secrecy for 2 weeks. It was a terrible thing to do. I had to go back to work for 2 weeks, knowing that I had got one of the best parts in English television, and I couldn't tell anybody. I really could not tell anyone because I couldn't trust anyone, to keep that secret. It was a very hard 2 weeks. And then, anyway, one day, the men used to tease me by calling me Sir Lawrence Olivier. And I said, listen, I've got to go out for a job tomorrow. It was in fact the announcement, the press announcement. And the chaps all used to like to have a bet on horses, and they used to buy the first edition paper at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that day, it was an enormous event at the BBC, and I was on the front page. And the guys went to the betting shop to put on their bets, and there I was. And what amazed them was that the next morning, I did turn into work on the building site. You know, to thank them and be with them, and they were very, very impressed, and it was charming, yes, absolutely charming. They were so thrilled for me, you know. It was a big event because, for me especially, I'd been out of work for some time, and had some disappointments, and I'd had a mild flirtation with movies, and it hadn't all worked out. And so I was really, it was a great relief. And looking back on it, of course, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the only part that I've ever done where I didn't really have to reach for it. You know, it was, that's what I meant about me being Doctor Who before I got it. I've been brought up to believe in the impossible. The difference between science fantasy and science fiction is that in science fantasy there are no rules. They're just characters who do magical things, who dematerialize and do good deeds, and there's a pretty girl and an old man, and they get up to all sorts of adventures. That's how beautiful it is. Now, I was brought up to believe in miracles and forgiveness and in being kind and everything. I come from a very religious background. And so I believed in all that. It was very easy for me to play Doctor Who and be and do all those tricks, you know, with my sonic screwdriver, or never destroying the Daleks, but being finally a good egg, as they used to say in England. I was ready for it, you know, and yeah, ask me another question.
I think we have time for one last one. This is from Varen Raymond. She says, times are changing all around us. We've seen great leaps and bounds in science, communication, human rights, and just about everything else. What words of wisdom do you have for your fans, young and old, about the world around them?
Oh, darling, beware of old men dropping out words of wisdom. The world is largely run by old men, and look at the state of it. I mean, I think if we had teenagers in the White House and in the British Parliament, we might actually get a better deal. But I have no words of wisdom, no consequence.